Hey guys, and welcome back to Tembo the Badass Elephant. We are in Zone 3, Zappoland, Stage 11. Welcome to Zappoland. And it is very electric. There is a bunch of electricity-based enemies, there's a bunch of Ferris wheels and carnival-ish things, and all around it's just very jolly. Everything's great. This first level is probably the hardest level of World 3. There's not that much health, and there's a lot of new enemies you have to deal with. And the new enemies aren't friends. They're just not there to have a good time. There's bouncy pads with happy little faces on them. They work pretty much the same as any other pinball-based bouncy pad you've ever seen in a video game. You hit them in a certain angle and you fly in a certain direction in a certain speed. It's all very nice. And there's Zappo the Clown. And Zappo the Clown, while he may look odd, he is our friend and gives us many peanut-shaped balloons and other such great deals. There's a whole bunch of new enemies here. That guy, for one, the yellow skull, if you hit it with water, it shoots a whole bunch of beams of electricity. We got that guy, Mr. Electricity Shooter Man, and if you shoot his electricity with water, it just goes all over the place, so obviously you don't really want to do that. And there's going to be another enemy later on, which is probably the actual worst enemy in the game. Now, there's an attack I wasn't aware of until recently. And I'm going to try to be using it against these tanks here, and also try not to die against them. That would also be good. So if you dash and you press your dash button again, like mid-dash, and you have to do it pretty quickly, you do this sort of almost uppercut but not really attack. If you do it wrong, you just sort of stop dashing. But that particular attack right there, it's actually really, really strong, and it knocks tanks over, and it... Alright, this is a new one. I'm gonna be honest. This... Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. So this is what happens when you die. And, I'm gonna see you with that tank again. I'll just... whatever. We'll have a death in this playthrough. Fine. I'm just gonna redo all that. Anyway, as I was saying, if you're dashing and you press the dash button again mid-dash, you do that attack, right? And it insta-kills tanks. And usually doesn't send you flying through the world. That's the plan, at least. Usually you don't clip out of bounds and fly into the endless, apparently very white void. And we're just gonna pretend none of that ever happened. We're just gonna go on with our lives and just move on. But as I was saying earlier, this level is probably the hardest one of World 3, just because there's not that much health and there's a lot of new stuff that you have to deal with. Bunch of fire tanks, bunch of potential clipping out of bounds by doing an attack you're not aware of. It is kind of weird that they don't really mention that attack anywhere though, because it is very useful in destroying tanks. Maybe they didn't mention it because apparently it can clip you out of the world, but somehow I doubt that. Maybe they just, I don't know, forgot, or just thought people just figure this out if they just press the dash button again. But the timing on it is pretty specific. You need to do it pretty quickly, otherwise you just stop dashing, and it is kind of annoying. You can knock tanks over with an uppercut as well, but it is really fiddly to do so, to do that in the middle of trying to hit them, and they'll be shooting as well, or they can be driving backwards, and when you do an uppercut you just stand still, and it's just really fiddly. Anyway, there was a new enemy there, one which shoots diagonal balls, and that enemy is the main reason why this level is hard. There's also destructible terrain over here, which brings us to a pinball machine with a whole bunch of phantom-related things. If you press the jump button, you do that. And we're gonna need to do that, because if you just go here, you actually cannot go through this. But there's a civilian all the way up there, so you kind of want to try and get in there before you leave the area. You can actually just return to that area as well very easily. You do need the cannon though, so it is a little bit hidden, but it's not the most stupidly hidden secret in this world, I'm gonna say. It's pretty easily to miss, but a level later on just has a secret civilian, which it almost feels out of place how well hidden it is, and it's just a bit odd. But whatever. We're gonna do this again. Hope we don't fly. It's just scaring me now. I'm actually just sort of worried to use that attack, since apparently I can just clip out of bounds and lose. So it's unfortunate when that suddenly happens, and what can you do? I don't really want to shoot these guys because you can't, you're just bouncing all over the place, and it becomes a lot harder to miss their electricity attack over there, but we did it. And that brings us to this part. You can actually just go underneath this entire sort of electricity enemy-filled platform. I'm not gonna do that. I don't really know why. I don't really have a very good reason, but you almost guaranteed take damage from one enemy by not going over it first, because the other strategy of getting to that civilian all the way to the right that I just got involves kind of a blind jump, and I don't really want to do that. But we're gonna take this cannon because we just saved that civilian, and we're gonna go to another civilian who's way up high in the sky. And from here, if you were to do this like the crash attack or whatever it's called, just in that direction following like a dash jump, you pretty much end up exactly as that civilian, but there's like a reasonable chance that you're gonna get hit by the enemy that's nearby it. I don't really like doing that. Not crashing down there because for some reason it's not like underneath the destructible terrain, and I don't really know why, it just isn't. And that takes us to effectively the last room in the level, and it's probably the hardest one as well because there's just so many of these diagonal balls, and it's very easy to get hit by those. We have a fair amount of health, so we don't need to be too worried, but there's just two of those enemies all the way in the bottom that we can't deal with right now, and they just keep shooting through these like platform things. And it's so annoying. Oh my god. And I'm just gonna do this the old-fashioned way, because it's just a little bit easier in my opinion. These guys actually fall through these platforms as well, which is odd, but if you are missing the tank driver, he's probably all the way down here. And from this point on, it doesn't really matter if you take damage because we're near enough done with this, but those two guys are so frustrating to deal with, and they are just the main cause of death in this level, at least for me. Maybe other people have more luck with it, but I struggle with those guys, man. I don't know what it is. But we did it! We saved all the people, we killed all the phantoms. Zappo the clown is like, yeah dog, you did this. We're not gonna have him on screen much. His weird balloon hands scare me. That's the main thing. His balloon hands just don't seem natural. I'm all about natural things. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next level of World 3. From this point on, the main thing that's gonna be killing us is instant death things, and it's like, whatever. You're gonna get killed by instant death things every now and then. Or, you know, clipping out of... I mean, technically that was an instant death too, I suppose. When you think about it, it wasn't instant death. It was just a bit unintentional, and wouldn't be one of my playthroughs if something didn't break halfway along the game, so I'm happy that we managed to find something new. It's good. But anyway, we're on a train again. I really can't stand this music, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna play some Angry Birds over here. I'm glad that this music is only in like 3 levels and it's the exact same song every single time, for as far as I can tell. It might be different, I'm honestly not sure, but it's that particular type of music. I can't stand it, dog. I don't like it at all, but what can you do? But we're gonna move on. We're gonna try not to get hit by these cannons. There's a whole bunch of bombs next to these cannons, and there's a button over here. Destroy those for 15 phantom points in case you're missing some. Destroy helicopters to get some more phantom points in case you're missing some. Destroy the driver to get some more phantom points. And it brings us to a new type of helicopter. This one shoots electricity. That's the main difference. It shoots electricity. It doesn't shoot rockets. It shoots it in 3 directions. It's very avoidable. For the most part, it's not too much trouble. There is going to be like one later on, which is in a kind of awkward spot, but whatever. Also, if you fall off the train, you insta-die, which is something you want to avoid, but it is what it is. Also, you might remember these instant death purple beam things. You don't really want to like butt smash your way down into this area, because the recovery time after doing that attack, oh, that was awkward, is pretty slow compared to just doing the crash attack, so I really wouldn't recommend it. This one's actually kind of tight if you make a mistake sometimes, so you want to be at least a little bit careful, especially when you accidentally get stuck into a wall or something like that. Also, there's some of these conveyor belts, yeah, I know the word sometimes, that go in the other direction. With the crash attack, you don't really notice them too much. If you just dash normally, you actually slow down quite tremendously. So obviously we want to avoid that. Now, because we did those crash attacks, we still had a lot of time remaining, but it does stop there. Which takes us to the next area, kills some more phantom dudes, and these guys will eventually die as well. Now I wonder if I could just like, just nudge it off. I kind of want to nudge him off the train. It is important. Yeah, there we go. That's good. Now we can move on with the level. This is important. You gotta kill certain ones more effectively. I don't know why that guy went all the way to the right there. I don't think he's supposed to be able to move other than up and down, but sure, why not? Donuts. There's donuts on this train, and they give you more peanuts because quite frankly they're just giving peanuts away in this game, but it is what it is. But now we're going to the weirdly floating up and down train section. Yeah, and you gotta just mainly not fall down. That's the main thing. If you fall down, again, you just insta-die to falling off the train, because it's just what happens when you fall off a train in most situations. You just insta-die. And you want to try to avoid the instant death. Kill the dude who throws bombs and make that jump so you don't die in hilarious fashion. And this part's actually kind of fiddly as well if you're not used to it, because there are some citizens here which we have to save, and you have to do this all pretty quickly. Which, if you know where everything is, it's not too bad, obviously, but if this is like your first playthrough, then it's very easy to like hit a bomb here or there, or make the wrong jump, because one of them's just sort of like almost geometry dash style, ridiculous in how specific you need to do the jumps, but we're gonna be fine, because I know what to do. We're gonna go down here, then we do a long jump, and then we jump here, then we don't jump here, and then we jump here, and then everything's pretty much fine. You do notice how much slower you are going when you're not on one of those conveyor belts, but this is gonna be awkward. Okay, that civilian in particular, when everything's all close, it gets kind of spooky. But we did it. We made it past World 2. Because again, if you... World 3? Stage 12? What am I even saying? I'm completely lost. I'm still baffled by the fact that I clipped through a floor, and I just really, really didn't expect that to happen. Because it never happened before until now. But it is what it is. We made it past the Zappo rail. And that brings us closer to the end of World 3. I think we already have, we already have 4,000 Phantom points, but the lock is still there. We do have to beat this level before the lock goes away, unfortunately. Because that's just how the game works. And I hope you're still not sick of this song, because, oh my god, the game sure isn't. Don't go left there, there's nothing there. Going left is a World 2 thing. We've grown beyond that particular lifestyle. But it's back to cannonballs, bowling balls, cannon bowling balls. And they are going to be helping us a lot. This is the level which contains the secret, which I think is personally just dumb and doesn't really fit into this game. It's just sort of comes out of nowhere, and you just sort of have to know that it's there. It's just, it annoys me when suddenly something like that happens, you know, where it's just like, I hope you randomly try this thing, because otherwise you just go miss out, I guess. And with the destructible terrain, at least you can see that it's there. I mean, in this particular case, it's just something invisible. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So this brings us to a tough platforming section. Oh no, we got hit. Oh damn. That's so bad. Fortunately, damage really is inconsequential in this level. There's so many cannonballs. There's so much health as well in general. That's just sad. We're gonna take this thing back. Also, the bowling ball cannot save people. It can only destroy things. So you do need to be a little bit aware of that. Please destroy some tanks. It would just be nice. Also, the bowling ball surprisingly good at missing some drivers sometimes. So you do need to do like a double check on making sure the drivers are actually dead. But yeah. Hey, we got our health back. Look at that. So over here, we're gonna go and crash into this helicopter over here. Also, if you smash down on a helicopter, it insta-dies. Wasn't aware of that either, and that one's actually something you could just figure out, and I didn't. So that's unfortunate. But we kill these guys, and before we move on to that big old door over there, we're just gonna go straight up, grab ourselves a civilian, and get kind of dumb secret 1 of 2, which is going over to the left here, which, you know, again, that's just a secret or whatever. You just go left, fair enough. Sometimes you just go left in this game, that's just a thing, please. There you go. Friggin' cannonballs, man. They're just not very good at going in the hole. I don't know what's up with them. But yeah, that's the puzzle. You have to shoot a bowling ball out there. But yeah, cool. Got that. We're gonna try and make the jump to the door now, because there's nothing else to do here. This is a really wanky. That's the word I'm gonna use for that. Yeah, good descriptor. I'm gonna use wanky to describe that room, because it seems right. Also, new type of block, the electricity block. If you water it, electricity comes out, and that's pretty much it. You can water them in any order you like. You just gotta hit. If you hit the last one, then you pretty much just instantly go to the end rather than watching a whole bunch of electricity fly past. And I like having it be as quick as possible. So usually I'm just gonna hit random ones in corners to move on with our lives, and whatever works quickest works the best. There's so much health in this level, it's kind of absurd. I really don't know why there's this much health in this level when you compare it to like the first level of World 3 where there's just so little. It's just such a weird comparison between the two levels where just one is just way harder than all the other ones. But it is what it is, I suppose. We're just gonna crash into that. That thing just died as well. I'm not actually even sure why. Maybe because it hit the wall. Yeah, actually genuinely uncertain why that one insta-died, but I'll take it, I suppose. There's just many new ways of playing this game that I'm finding out while recording this majesty. But there's a whole bunch of guys with spikes here. If you do it quick enough, then they don't turn around and they just die, and obviously that is the preferable method. But you can't always have it be the way that you desire it. We're gonna hit that particular one, which I think... No, that one? This would have hit it eventually, I guess. I don't know. Maybe something would have happened. They do like chain off each other a lot, and that becomes kind of an issue in a later level as well. But for now, it's just convenience. You just gotta make sure not to get hit by the electricity, and then you all good, dog. Get the civilian, move on. Not much else going on in that room, unfortunately. And that brings us to the room with the bowling ball and the 3 helicopters. It's called that because there's a bowling ball and 3 helicopters. It's a room where you have a bowling ball and there's 3 helicopters, and you hit the helicopters with the bowling ball. Yeah, and then you win. And if you want, you can hit those other guys with the bowling ball as well. But my aim's usually terrible, so I'm not gonna rely on trying to do that. And instead, we're just gonna go to the left over here, save a civilian, and then move on with our lives. Don't need to worry about the bowling ball anymore. 2 more health boxes because, of course, it's been like at least a room ago since we've gotten a health box, so it makes sense that we get a new one. And probably should be using water to kill those guys up there, but you know, sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget the murder, and that's fine. Sometimes you just gotta be a bit more gentle. But not this time. We're gonna kill them in the end anyway, but you know, I'm just leaving them to worry about their fate for a little bit longer. Also, you don't need to kill the drivers to move on to the next room, which can be annoying because you'll be like, oh cool, I killed everything and the door opened, but no, not really. Not actually though. Actually, there's still stuff alive. Also, the bowling ball missed a bunch of stuff, which I'm fixing right now, but I did it. And that coincidentally brings us to what I think is just dumb. And that's that there's like a secret over here. It's very easily missable because it's just completely invisible. Also, the Technodrome's in the background there, but I just don't like it. It's just kind of weird. Anyway, new mini boss. This one teleports. The direction in which it goes is unfortunately a bit random. Once you hit it once, you're gonna want to just avoid the first 2 attacks. Oh, that's unfortunate. And then it's probably gonna jump again, and you're just gonna have to try and predict in which direction it jumps. But that punch attack, sometimes he does it once, sometimes he does it twice. And personally, I don't really like to risk it. But usually after he's done 2 attacks in a row, then he'll do a jump again. And then you can just go underneath them. There probably is a better way of doing that. I don't know what it is, but whatever, we win. I'm going to use this bowling ball over here to just have it go up in a weird way and try to hit that thing. And good stuff. We're all done with that particular mission, and that brings us to the next one, as every other mission that we have done so far has also done. It brings us to the next one. I hope you enjoy this animation of the lock going away as well, by the way, because they gotta do it every time. I also hope you're looking forward to the same cutscene that we've already seen 2 times, because, you know, wouldn't be the same without it. Just it wouldn't be the same if we didn't have the little cutscene of the elephant flying towards the non-numbered Technodrome in the background. Just wouldn't be the same. Also, I don't know why he uses birds at the start of the game, but not his weird helicopter thing. Why doesn't he just keep using birds? What's wrong with birds, Elephant Man? No one knows. Anyway, the exit's right here. I mean, maybe you can clip through the wall here. I don't know anymore. I don't know what's possible. I don't know the possibilities. But there's 4 doors and you need to do a thing in all the 4 rooms. Mainly you have to press a button. Room number 1 is sort of the battle room, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to call it the battle room. Seems like an appropriate name because we're doing a lot of battling here. And there's just a bunch of things from the other worlds or levels, like very sort of world-specific things that you might remember, like this little guy. He still can't go far enough to the left to actually do anything, but, you know, he tries, man. There's a bunch of cannons in the backgrounds as well, but They also don't shoot far enough left. Oh man. That's why this strategy is just horrible, because sometimes you miss the tennis ball. And that was not at all just completely and utterly my fault. So first, before we move on, we're gonna go to those cannons and just destroy them, because I'm a bit, like, they just really made it really difficult on us, and I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. But we did it. And we saved a civilian who conveniently was also in the background there, and that takes us further back than I feel it should, but what are you gonna do? We're gonna move forward. There's a closed door over here. We are going to ignore it and go into the open door. But remember that closed door, it's important for later. You might forget about it and then you'll be like, how you know this thing? But it'll make sense. If you just remember the closed door, guys, it's gonna be a pop quiz regarding only that closed door. I hope you're ready. Here's the pop quiz. There's a circular terrain here, which is actually just very plainly visible. And yeah, if you forgot about that closed door, you might not remember to do that. I want to kill that guy first. I also kind of want to destroy the terrain under that shotgun guy, because it makes me giggle every time I see it happen. So first we're going to kill that guy. And these particular guys are kind of odd, because they can only shoot in one direction. And that's the direction chosen for them. So he's just going to be shooting down into the ground forever now. He can't do anything else with his life. And it's just kind of sad. It's just kind of sad, man. Let's just relieve them of that pain that they have to go through every single day of their lives. And instead, move on forward and press a button. Which is down here. Down here. There we go. I got some health on the way forward. There's actually some health crates in this area. They refill when you die, but if you don't die, they don't come back when you pick them up. So we're just going to leave them there for a little bit. Because we are going to another instant death area, because you might have forgotten about the purple electricity thing, but I sure haven't. This one can be kind of annoying, actually, because sometimes an enemy stays alive for some reason, and I don't really know why. But occasionally an enemy survives the purpleness, and then you just gotta go back again and do it again, I guess, because, yeah, it just stayed alive, and if you're going for full phantom points, then you can't have that. Also, the purple electricity still doesn't save civilians, unfortunately. It is what it is. Can't be helped. Oh, I guess what happens... No, never mind. I thought maybe it would get stuck in that, underneath area. That's what I'm gonna call it. Like, the area underneath the conveyor belts, and maybe you can't get hit there is what I was thinking, but... Then a dude did get hit there, so I really don't know. I actually just genuinely don't know what's happening there. We're gonna pick up a health crate, move on to room number 3, the purple one. For the purple people. You might remember this from a level that we did literally seconds ago. And is filled with more electricity-based puzzles. In this one, the chaining of electricity... I did that so wrong, oh my god. The chaining of electricity, that actually worked out. I can't believe that actually hit that guy, but... The chaining of electricity actually becomes kind of a problem. Because it goes on literally forever in a second. And it becomes kind of spooky scary. We're just gonna hit that one, because it's the only one that matters. And it's going to open this door. All the other ones just make scary, damaged things happen. And the one I'm standing on right now is a little elevator. It's going to bring us up. Going to get some health. Also, when you jump up an elevator that's going up, then you just jump a lot higher because physics. But this is a room where electricity becomes a little bit scarier. And it's a little bit easier to take damage if you're not used to it. Especially because, again, the, sort of transparent platforms, I guess. I don't really know what to call them. They're in a different height than the rest of sort of the platforms there, I guess. I'm just gonna call it like that. And it restarts your dash attack every time, and it's actually really annoying, and I wish it wasn't the case. I wish it was just lined up properly, but it isn't. I wish it was just all transparent platforms so you wouldn't have to deal with it. Also, there's a door here. And when your dash restarts, you can't jump. And you just don't jump, and then you take damage because this game's awesome. But what are you gonna do? We're gonna spray some water in that direction, hit the electricity, and then we're just gonna wait over here while that tank gets destroyed. You could go all the way up there using that elevator. There's no real reason to, because you can just very easily hit the electricity thing from over yonder. And we managed to do it just fine. Also, I love the music in this stage. Maybe because we just had 3 stages of the same song, and it's all bad, but... I love the music in this. The people in the background love the music. They're just dancing along all happy like, and I love it, man. I'm having a good time and they are too. And that brings us to the last room. which is battle room number 2. That's just more fighting. But with bouncy pads this time, you might remember this from World 3. Zone 3, right? It's not a world, it's a zone. It's very different. But we're just gonna do it old-fashioned style because of all those bouncy platforms over here. It just becomes a lot more tricky to actually hit the tank using that dash attack, because if you're like in the air again, it doesn't really work. And we're gonna do an uppercut over here so we stop spinning, and if we're not spinning, then we don't go through the enemies. And it makes it a lot easier to actually kill them all, because otherwise they start bouncing around on those platforms, and it's also very, like, a lot more likely you're gonna get hit by their, like, melee attack when you're spinning around for some reason. I guess because you go through them. That's actually the likely explanation as to why it becomes more likely that you're gonna get hit by stuff. Just because you're just more in their hitbox, and yeah, it's very easy to take damage. I don't want to take damage. I don't like taking damage. I just want to get out of this stupid bouncy pad hell. Just let me out of here. There we go. Also, there was a button in the middle there, which there's a civilian there, in case you missed it. You might have missed it. It was very swift. Also, we're running out of water, but it doesn't really matter too much, because there's only so many enemies you can use water on in this place anyway. There's a helicopter here. I'm going to ignore it. I'm just going to bounce on people. We could have just used an uppercut there, actually, and just, like, smashed through him. I didn't, because I'm dumb. That's the main reason. There's a lot of strategies which you could do to just speed up the process and make things probably a little bit more easy. But most of the times I don't do that because I'm dumb. And it just is what it is. Going inside this little semi-secret question mark room over here, because there's a whole bunch of phantom points and another civilian that needs to be saved. I don't think you can take damage here, and it's mostly just landing on the right platforms. And the moment we're done with that, we're just going to leave there immediately. There's just too many bouncy pads, and I feel uncomfortable. My dash just got removed because the platform was slightly lower, and that's why my jump didn't happen. It was all good, but we got all the phantom points. We pressed all the 4 buttons, and now that we have pressed all the 4 buttons, that thing goes down. We can use this elevator to go to the statue, and phantom is no longer freedom in this world. And it takes us to boss number 3. In the Technodrome number 3, and it's a doozy. This one actually I really struggled with the first time around, but I also really struggled with the second boss the first time around, and once you kind of know how to do it, he's not so bad. He's not so bad, you just gotta dodge him a little bit, but if you don't know how to dodge him, he becomes kind of annoying. Also, you might not know how to beat him, I guess, but it becomes kind of obvious after, like, 12 seconds what you're supposed to do if you just try your moves on him. But there's a disco ball here. It detaches from the electricity and it becomes a dancing boss. Look at him. I don't know what his name is. I always forget to read it. But you have to bounce it into the electricity socket that it previously detached from, because now he's weak to it. Because, yeah. And once you hit him once, he is briefly vulnerable. His shield goes away. I need to try, like, the dash attack against him, I guess. I don't know if it actually speeds up the battle. But yeah, just like aiming this can be kind of tricky. It's very easy to get hit by all those projectiles as well, so there's a bunch of stuff you kind of need to be careful of. I don't think that attack gives it more damage against these guys. I think it's just the tanks. Also, I need to stop taking damage from that same thing over and over. But I'm going to try to do my dash attack over and over, just in case it does work out, you know? But most of the time, you're just going to want him to jump twice. But if it looks like you're going to be able to hit him, you just jump once. That's just all there is to this battle. Okay, that nearly hit me. But yeah, if it looks like you can hit him, you probably can. It does stay still in the corner for a while as well, so it makes it a little bit easier to hit him. And I'm really struggling to do that dash attack, but whatever. Like, you can probably do that, and it probably works out as well, and get hit by another laser that bounced off from the distance. He starts doing different attacks after a while, as you may have noticed. Like, it shoots those green balls now, so the places you have to stand to avoid attacks sort of changes every single time. I got hit by the blue attack, just only the blue attack, because I kept standing in the same place. But whatever, it worked out. We did enough damage to him. The disco ball is dead. The people are still dancing. And all the damage we took was irrelevant. And, yeah, this cutscene again, it stays good, man. Colonel Mustache is so happy with our progress. And again, there's a version of this without people, yeah, etc, etc, etc. So we've killed the Technodromes in the 3 worlds. Colonel Mustache is like, yeah, dog, but there's actually, he's still alive because we never took care of him. And everyone's like, wow. And he's like, do you remember me? I was that guy from the picture that you may have seen in the opening cutscene. You may have missed him because he just seems like a random irrelevant character, but no, he's actually the bad guy after he picked up the helm from the thing. And then he killed everyone, I guess, except, well, he killed one guy. Maybe two. But not Colonel Mustache and not the elephant. And he's really happy about it, because the helmet probably makes him evil or whatever. I don't really know. All I know is that apparently a helicopter goes Vrr! And those things go whoosh. And that's really all there is to it. But then there's like some world map changes in just a moment. Because naturally we do still have to deal with that guy. Boom! World 4, look at that. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? I just appeared like that and this guy was like, oh, our old squad mate Dennis is actually the Phantom Commander. Poor Dennis, consumed by the Phantom Stone, but he must be stopped. We got intel on the fortress, and he has been preparing a vast force there in his fortress. You must stop him and kill everyone. There's so many exclamation marks. Good luck! He's real excited about it all. Real excited. Much more excited about the first 3 worlds, I'm gonna say. But World 4 is for a different time. Zone 4, the Phantom Fortress, because it's difficult and I haven't practiced it, and I want to practice it first. So I hope you guys enjoyed so far. Next time we play, we're going to do Zone 4 Phantom Fortress, and we are going to enter the Phantom. Bye-bye.